Coming up this week, off screen, Michael Fassbender goes western in Slow West. The Minions get their own movie in, wouldn't you know it, Minions. Keanu Reeves meets the home intruders from hell in Knock Knock. Peter Bogdanovich returns to the screen with She's Funny That Way. Salma Hayek gets revenge of her own in a fight for her life in Everly. Scientology goes under the microscope in documentary Going Clear. And Adam Scott and Taylor Schilling meet their new neighbours in The Overnight. All of that to come and more off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome to Off Screen. I'm Van Connor.
My name is Mr. Kase Allen.
Is that your name, Mr. Kase Allen?
Yeah, Mr. is now my first name.
Mr. is now your first name, not his first name is Agent. Yeah. Right, so should we start with Slow West this week then?
Let's do it. Fassbender.
Okay, so Fassbender in a western. What could possibly go wrong with this? So Slow West, which is the debut feature from this is the former Beta Band singer John McLean. John McLean.
Hey, it's John McLean.
John McLean.
John McLean.
McLean. Okay, because it's weird. I've been calling him John McLean or John McLean. I can't seem to decide which.
I heard somebody. It was on Nevermind Buzzcocks once. Weirdly, when he was like contestant, somebody said John McLean. So.
Oh, he was a contestant on Buzzcocks
Years ago.
Oh right, okay.
Mark Lamar years.
The Mark Lamar years,
yeah,
the good years.
The good years.
So this is John McLean's debut feature. This stars Michael Fassbender and Cody Smith-McPhee, and is the story of Jay Cavendish, a young Scottish boy who, well, I say young boy, he's sort of 18 to 20, I would say, age-wise, who's trekking his way across America in the pursuit of his lost love. Along the way, he encounters a would-be robber, would-be murderer, played by Michael Fassbender, and the pair team up to make the trek, with Fassbender serving as Cody Smith-McPhee's guardian of sorts. Here's a clip.
I know why you need my help.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You're lonely. You're a lonely man.
Sure, kid.
Sure, kid. Let's drift. A silent, lonely drifter. You're a lonely, lonely man.
No need to concern over me. Hold still.
All I'm saying is, there's more to life than just surviving.
Yeah, there's dying. Survival ain't just how to skin a jackrabbit. It's knowing when to bluster and when to hush, when to take a beating and when to strike.
It's very much a character-driven piece, Slow West. I mean, there's a lot of people who haven't liked it have immediately picked on the name. Said, yeah, slow, definitely the right term for it, Slow West. And I suppose in one sense it is quite a slow western. It's one of those films that it's entirely character-driven. There is a story to it. Don't think it's completely devoid of story, but it's heavily focused on the characters. But it's kind of weird. It doesn't reinvent the Western. It sort of adds a new sort of contemporary spin to it, particularly in terms of its dialogue and how it's written. And it's funny when it needs to be, and it's quite dramatic and moving when it needs to be. And it ticks all those boxes in equal measure. There's a great performance from Ben Mendelsohn in there as well, who I know you're a big fan of.
Big fan.
Well,
like him a
he
lot.
Steals this. But
amazing.
He has this sort of... It's almost like what I would describe as a Rhys Ifans role, if you can imagine such a thing.
I weirdly know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean when I say a Rhys Ifans role? Because Rhys Ifans actually does this role in She's Funny That Way later. But it is basically a sort of Rhys Ifans type, let's pop up and steal the show kind of extravagant performance.
It's because of Notting Hill. I think that's where that stems from, yeah.
But Michael Fassbender, great in it. He does that grizzled... I mean, you can imagine, it's Fassbender. Doing a grizzled Western character.
Yeah, it's no-brainer, isn't it?
It's a no-brainer. There's no way that's going badly. But I really like Cody Smith-McPhee in it. I think he's definitely got a future in doing this sort of character-driven... doing sort of character roles, I would say. I mean, we got a sort of faint hint of this in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, definitely.
When with the sketchbook, you know, the sketchbook.
Yeah. I think that was the first example of him really kind of growing up because
he was a child
actor. Yeah.
What do I know him from as a child? Because I can't remember this offhand.
I will just quickly refresh both of our memories.
I've just remembered it's is it Let the Right One In or is it the remake?
It's the remake.
The remake, which is Let Me In.
Let Me In, yeah.
Right, that's the
Road.
The
Road.
Road. That's the one.
Oh, and he was great in that.
He was great. Wow, he's Cody.
Voices Paranorman.
I think Cody Smith-McPhee might be a great actor, and we're just not giving him credit. I think That might be the case.
Yeah.
But anyway, the real credit for Slow West deserves to go to John McClane, he shot this thing beautifully. It is a stunning-looking film. And it's a film that, in the kind of a similar way to the recent Mads Mikkelsen film. The Mad Mikkelsen Western.
the West. Oh, what was that?
I track for the life of me. The Salvation.
Of course, yeah. With Cantona.
Exactly. In the same way that The Salvation had that wonderful sense of place, this does as well. And it's great. It's great with it. I think there is definitely a calling card at work here for both Cody Smith-McPhee and John McClane. And definitely I want to see more of the pair of them. Slow West itself is kind of surprising in places, but very, very enjoyable. I do think that the film is going to be overshadowed by the eventual careers of John McClane and Cody Smith-McPhee. It's one of those films that can kind of get overlooked. You know how you look at Tarantino now and you never think of Reservoir Dogs anymore?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, you
Which is a shame.
Which is a shame, because that's the best thing Tarantino, will ever really do.
I mean, it's the best debut you could really hope for,
Exactly.
you would think.
I'm saying this has that effect, but I think, like Reservoir Dogs for Tarantino 20 years ago...
He's going to catapult him.
He's going to become so much
a bit
bigger
like
than
Ben
this
Wheatley.
Yes, in that
Downtowns was a fantastic film, and then Kill List came out, which kind of skyrocketed him. Yeah,
it's true. I'm not a fan of Ben Wheatley though. Although Doctor Who did prove to me that he can direct. He can direct well. His films are just better when he's not involved in the writing of them.
Wait until High Rise.
We will see on that one. Right. So, shall we have a look at some film news for the week?
I think we should. There's loads.
There's
so much to talk about.
So we should talk about James Horner first.
Yeah,
James Horner
very, very sadly
James Horner sadly passed away in rather horrific circumstances. It was a plane crash.
It was a plane crash. He was a pilot as well as a composer, and sadly his light aircraft crashed.
Yep, and he leaves behind a legacy of film music, which we were comparing our sort of James Horner scores before we started recording, and because I said Aliens, that's my go-to James Horner.
Apollo 13 is probably mine.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which is a really good one. But you think, I mean, that man worked so much in the 90s.
He really did most of 90s cinema.
Yeah, everything from like Jumanji to Apollo 13 to...
Did James Horner do Dances with Wolves?
No, he didn't. I think it was James Newton Howard. Please prove me wrong.
And we were literally saying it's so easy to get those two confused.
Yeah.
But yes, sadly he has passed, as has Patrick Macnee this week. John Steed himself.
Original Avenger.
The first Avenger.
Yeah.
Step aside, Cap.
I completely forgot that he is in Spinal Tap as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that as well.
He's in it for like 2 minutes.
When I think of his film work, I tend to remember him from A View to a Kill.
Yeah, that's fair.
But also because I remember Roger Moore's god-awful alias being St. John Smythe. James St. John Smythe.
Well, they were big friends, and Roger Moore has since tweeted about his death.
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, Roger Moore's been eulogising him online the last day or so.
Yeah, as he did for Christopher Lee, so tough time, really, yeah.
It seems that Roger Moore has quite a collection of friends.
Who were all 93.
All the same age as well.
Yeah.
93 seems to be the magic number lately.
Good innings though, 93.
Oh, good. We didn't talk about this last week. Rob Zombie has announced that his next project, since the Halloween franchise is moving on without him,
Can't blame it.
I know. It's going to be an adaptation of the memoirs of Groucho Marx, Raised Eyebrows. Now this sounds like, I mean, on paper, brilliant. On paper, brilliant idea. The only problem is we've seen Tim Burton do this kind of thing before and get it so wrong. The question is this going to be Rob Zombie's Ed Wood? Or is this going to be Rob Zombie's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? That kind of thing.
I would hope it would be leaning more towards the former.
You would hope for Ed Wood.
Yeah.
But there are times when, the perfect marriage of director and material can go so wrong. And
but I don't think this
isn't one of them.
I look at this and I didn't think it was a perfect marriage to start with. Then you start thinking about it.
Once you start looking into it, it becomes infinitely clearer.
That's it, yeah.
But we shall find out when Raised Eyebrows eventually releases itself.
That's got a release date? Or?
There is no release date as of yet now. So let's have a look at Minions then, because this is going to be the biggie, I think, this week in terms of its box office draw. Minions, I think, is going to own the multiplex. I mean, have you been to a multiplex the last couple of days?
I tried to avoid it.
Yeah, it's very, very hectic, and there are a lot of children around.
Yeah, I can imagine that. A lot of children, a lot of dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's a lot of Minions t-shirts at the multiplex as well. So Minions, which is the third entry in the Despicable Me franchise, it's a sort of sequel, spin-off, prequel hybrid in a strange way.
Oh.
In that it takes place nearly 40 years before the events of Despicable Me. It takes place in late 60s New York, mostly, and centres around the history of the Minions themselves, who are told in this sort of Werner Herzog-like documentarian-style intro.
Oh, I wish that he directed that film.
Oh, I know. Did you ever see Penguins of Madagascar?
Yeah.
With the Werner Herzog intro. That was genius.
incredible.
This has a similar thing with Geoffrey Rush. Geoffrey Rush does the narration of the history of the Minions. And in that way that only Geoffrey Rush can do. The Minions evolved from single-celled organisms to, actual walking anthropomorphic creatures, and basically wandered throughout history, serving the most despicable master in the world. So depending on where you are in history at the time, the most evil creature is who they serve. So in the dinosaur era, they go and serve a T-Rex. In the caveman era, they go and serve the alpha male. In, in the Viking era, they will go and serve, And, they go and serve Dracula, and they go and serve the Pharaoh, and they go, but the only problem is that because of their natural sort of accident-prone nature, they keep accidentally killing their masters.
Right.
And you'll have seen this in the trailer, particularly with Dracula, where they open the curtains and dust him, for lack of a better term. This eventually leads to an accidental attempt on the life of Napoleon, who takes it rather badly and basically tries to arrange the genocide of the Minions, who promptly flee and hide in the Arctic, where they form a society of their own, but without a master to actually serve. The Minions start to basically, for lack of a better term, physically and psychologically decay. They start to... There's a queue of them waiting to see a psychiatrist who is just literally a minion with a clipboard. And so enter Kevin, who sort of appoints himself the visionary of the Minions, who elects to leave the cave, go back into the outside world and find a master for them to serve, and thus renew their purpose in life. And he takes along a pair of volunteers, Stuart and Bob. Bob is a sort of young, impressionable, childlike minion, and Stuart is sort of a cool, laid-back, acoustic guitar-playing minion. So the three venture out into the real world in search of a master. Here's a clip.
It is time to get down to business. Do you know who this is?
La cucaracha?
This is Queen Elizabeth, ruler of England. Oh, I love England. The music, the fashion. I'm seriously thinking about overthrowing it someday. Anyway, this pale drink of water oversees it all. I'm her biggest fan. Love her work. And I really, really, really want her crown. Steal me the crown and all your dreams come true. Respect. Power. Banana.
Scarlet Overkill. That's what I was going to say. Scarlett Johansson. Scarlet Overkill.
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock and Banana. But because that's the rallying cry of the film. I mean, we did the thing in London last week, and they were literally handing out bananas to the kids in Minion t-shirts. It was the weirdest little thing.
Well, as in actual bananas.
As in actual bananas with a little Minion band round them. They're handing them out to the kids. It was the strangest thing. Right. First of all, this is going to be huge. It is a staggering... I mean, it's an incredibly well-intentioned film. Can't deny that. It wears its heart on its sleeve in one sense, but also it goes back to something that I think the last Despicable Me movie was lacking. Now, for me, on a story level, the genius of Despicable Me, 5 years ago now, was what it did with villains. Its exploration of the sort of Looney Tunes-like supervillain culture. Which, when you coupled that with the sense of heart and the really great writing...
That's what I really, really liked about it, and now the focus has shifted towards a Minion, so that's why I...
Well, when you got to Despicable Me 2,
away.
they did this thing. Because of how Despicable Me had ended, Despicable Me 2 went to this place where it had to be nice, effectively. It had to be all nicey-nicey about it. And the villain thing had more or less gone away. And now it was, okay, he's more or less a hero. So we didn't really get much exploration of the villain culture. We didn't get any more insight into the villain world that the first movie had set up. Despite the fact that there was an infinitely more logical way to do a second movie, which was, okay, let's do that with heroes now. Let's see what happens when a hero shows up.
Well, maybe they're waiting for that for Despicable Me 3.
3, yeah. Because the idea of a hero showing up and not realising that Gru is good That to me is a more interesting...
That's like the logical progression.
That's the logical progression for me. Now, so you now got the minions, which, because it's gone back in time, allows you to go back into the villain side of things. And that little hint you got in the first movie with the Bank of Evil, formerly Lehman Brothers, is now a whole world. So this movie is basically the Will Arnett character exploded into a whole sort of universe, which brings in characters such as Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton plays a man who seems to be a suburban husband, who's actually a bank robber and a criminal, a family-led bank robber and criminal. As in, he and Alison Janney, his wife, drive around in their station wagon with their kids in the back, and they pull over at banks as they drive across the country. They get out and they rob the banks as a family.
Bank. Wow, it's a nice family day trip.
That is, isn't it? Yeah. And Michael Keaton and Alison Janney are terrific in this.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Now that's a problem, because they are actually infinitely more enjoyable than Sandra Bullock and John Hamm, who are meant to be sort of the antagonists of the piece.
What is John Hamm's character's name?
I forget. Hal, I want to say.
Is it Herb?
Herb, that's it.
Herb Overkill.
Herb Overkill, that's it.
Yeah.
Scarlet Overkill and Herb Overkill, and he's kind of a gadgety sort of swinging 60s inventor type. You've got the minions themselves, and they of course are the star. They are the focus of the film. They are the stars of the film. They are the reason to see the film. They're what you're going to take away from the film. And to be fair, the film delivers all the minion action you could possibly want and more. It is funny. It is sharp. It is well written. I think a lot of people who are more adjusted mentally to the Despicable Me way of doing things, who didn't get that Despicable Me was about the villains in the first place, are going to be disappointed with it, because the film is what I wanted it to be. It is about the villains. And that's what Despicable Me should have always been about, not the second. I think the second movie is a massive misfire. I don't think it's a bad film. I do think it's a misfire, though.
A bit of a missed opportunity.
It's a wasted opportunity for me.
Sorry. I was just going to say that I don't want to say hatred, but my dislike of Minions has been well advertised.
Is it because of the overexposure of them?
Yes,
you think
definitely. I've said it to many people, and I was kind of dreading this film coming out, because I just didn't think it was going to have much of a progression or a story arc, and the way that you've set it up for me, with them going and trying finding a different master, I think that's actually quite clever.
It is quite clever. Don't get me wrong, the third act does go a little bit off kilter. It does go to a bit more traditional Despicable Me type shenanigans. I will say that they have kept one very large plot point out of the marketing. And there is also, in the marketing, a deliberate lie as well, which is meant to conceal a little... I won't go into detail, but when you see the film, if you then see the trailer, you'll be like, oh, that's quite clever, because they've made it look like, okay... There is a trick at work, and it's well done, because it threw me off. I wasn't expecting it, and I will say that. By the way, I think is it Joanna Lumley as the Queen? No, I quite liked her.
Oh, that's good casting.
I quite liked her. Is it Joanna? I want to say Joanna Lumley. I forget offhand, but I quite enjoyed it. Kids are going to go nuts for it. The kids in the screening I was in were having the time of their lives. The parents, they were all sat back, sort of laughing themselves senseless.
Well, that's what you want, especially like post Pixar success story.
Exactly,
you want the
solid
adults
family
as well. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. This will not be as iconic as Despicable Me. I think Despicable Me is a modern classic of the genre.
Okay.
But I don't think this is as a classic by any means. It's a very enjoyable film, and it's very good, but I don't think it's a classic of the genre.
Just a little bit of caretaking, on that last bit. You said Joanna Lumley?
Yeah.
Jennifer Saunders.
So I was close.
You were close.
I was almost there.
Yeah.
Almost.
I can see where you made your mistakes. Completely fine.
Oh, they're basically the same person.
It's all ab-fab.
It's all ab-fab, exactly. So have you heard about this documentary that Courtney Love is trying to have shut down?
Yeah, Soaked in Bleach.
Soaked in Bleach, which is the examination of Kurt Cobain's fate.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. This is coming out so soon after Montage of Heck.
Yes,
which has been so wildly praised. Rightly so. It's very good.
I've yet to see Montage of Heck.
Very good.
But Courtney Love is allegedly trying to legally block the release of the film. Now, I want to point out as well, we put this as a news article on the site in the news bit. And you would not believe the vitriol that gets generated if you put the name Courtney Love on Twitter or Instagram.
Oh, I've seen it. People
went nuts.
Yeah, we will.
people really hate Courtney Love. Like, I don't really ever give her that much thought because it's Courtney Love. Who cares? But
I can name 2 songs by Hole.
I can name Celebrity Skin, and that's it. And
I can name that and Malibu.
Well, Celebrity Skin is the only one that's on my playlist.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. So, Maleficent sequel, that's happening. Disney going ahead with that one. Why wouldn't they be?
Made so much money for them, and going back to the well, isn't it?
It really is, isn't it? So, I mean, are we just going to get to the stage where we start hiring, when Angelina Jolie turns it down for money reasons, where they just go and hire Regina from Once Upon a Time to take the role over, and that becomes a thing? Lana Parrilla, that's her name.
In the sequel, is she going to actually be a bad guy? Is she going to revert back? Is that...
I have no idea. I don't care. I hated Maleficent so much.
Yeah.
But, my favourite news of the week. Jason Statham, at the unveiling, at the opening of Fast and Furious Supercharged, the new ride at Universal Studios, did some interviews and revealed that Deckard Shaw, his character, will be returning for Fast and Furious 8. Have you ever seen that episode of American Dad in which Roger the Alien breaks out of the Thai prison? You know, where he's underwater and he's in a glass cage that's chained to the bottom of the ocean. And it shows you him, he escapes by killing all the guards and making a raft of their bodies. And his oar is literally one of their severed arms. That's the only way Jason Statham's character returns to this universe.
But that could happen.
It really could. Actually, given the opening of Furious 7... Not entirely out the realm of possibility.
Such a great opening.
I love that opening. I really want to see that again. There is a video doing the rounds, by the way, that fuses Furious 7 with Minions. It actually digitally inserts Minions into Furious 7. And I love it because one of them has actually replaced Tyrese with a Minion. It's fantastic. So what's our next review? Then we're going to do Knock Knock.
I think we're going to do box office top 10.
Oh, yes, box office top 10.
That, yeah.
Yep. Okay, then.
Number 10.
Moving down to number 10, Mad Max Fury Road. I don't know what else we can say about it.
I love it. You love it.
We all love it.
It's great.
It's great.
Number 9.
And it's still hanging in there. Number 9, The Empire Strikes Back.
The funny thing about this, when Back to the Future was the Secret Cinema event, it was, I think, number 8 or number 9 permanently for about 6 weeks. And because it was completely sold out for those 6 weeks, it made the exact same figure every single week.
It's nice when you wanted to change things. You could just leave it.
You could literally predict it every week. You're like, okay, so it's going to come back this week and it'll make 240,000 because that's...
I'll bear that in mind. I'm going to put like a bet on for next week.
You should. I mean, the best part is if you learn how many tickets they have in advance, you could technically go to William Hill and bet.
And now we're telling everybody else to do this.
Oh, damn it, we've let an inside tip slip.
Number 8.
Insidious Chapter 3 is down. It's in number 8 position.
I liked it. It was great.
I really liked it, yeah.
Perfectly solid standalone sort of supernatural horror film.
I didn't enjoy the first 2, so I'm still a bit at odds as to whether to even bother watching this.
I think you will like it on the ground that it's not intrinsically connected to those first 2 films. It works on its own merits.
Okay.
Number 7.
Straight in at number 7, all you Nicholas Sparks fans.
Well, I'm not a Nicholas Sparks fan, but I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it, though, didn't you?
The Longest Ride.
The Longest Ride, yeah.
Which I liked. I mean, I like Scott Eastwood. I think he is a USDA-approved Hemsworth.
Strong jaw. Yeah, it has got a good cast. Britt Robson, who obviously Tomorrowland, I really liked.
Jack Houston.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have interaction with online this week, strangely. But no, Jack Houston I really liked in it. Alan Alda, I think is always fun to see.
Oh, yeah, I
love Alan Alda. And Una Chaplin. I'm a big fan of Una Chaplin. Yeah. Seems to have come out of nowhere, and she's great in everything. She's wide-eyed, does the wide-eyed innocence thing quite well.
Number 6.
Moving down to number 6.
Go on, surprise me.
San Andreas.
What do we do now?
We must rebuild.
What a film.
We have a big American flag flying
behind us. Yeah, we've got the slow motion flag waving behind us. Yeah. But no, loved it. What more say? It's a classic old school disaster movie. It is.
Number 5.
This is pretty low for a new entry, I would think. I will let you introduce it. Number 5.
It's Entourage. I'm not introducing it.
You're not doing the bit?
I'm done. 1 week was 2 weeks was enough. Okay. But yeah, Entourage, which isn't as bad. It's not the scourge of all evil, which everyone makes out, but it's pretty bad. If you're a fan of the series, you will find it, decently enjoyable. But I think otherwise, it's binge watching of an event series and nothing more.
Number 4.
Straight in, Mr. Holmes. Ian McKellen as Mr. Holmes.
It's Ian McKellen as Mr. Holmes. You said it yourself. You've sold the film right there. Really well directed, really well written, really well performed.
I mean, that's pretty impressive taking for first week for that level of film. Yeah.
Was it $750,000? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good go.
Number 3.
Moving down to number 3, Melissa McCarthy, The Stafe, and an unnecessary Sophie Fenowitz in Spy.
Which you say you liked but didn't love. I think that was,
I liked it but didn't love.
No, I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I more than liked it. I didn't love it. I really enjoyed it. That's what I will say. Melissa McCarthy, very funny in it. Statham, very, very funny in it. I even liked Alison Janney in it.
Oh, come on, even. She could be the star of that film.
I mean, she's getting no kudos for it. I think she deserves some.
Oh, good man. Everybody watch every... Oh, by the way, coming towards end of season 4, West Wing.
You are finally. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're enjoying some Alison Janney at the moment.
Oh, I really am.
Number 2.
Straight in at number 2. Never forget that people love Take That.
You see, I've seen Take That live, so I can't really say.
I would imagine their show is actually pretty.
Their live shows are pretty good. Right, Take That Live. Obviously, it's a live event cinema thing. I haven't seen it because why would I? It's a single screening, isn't it? Was it only a single one night?
I believe it was a one night only, but several cinemas had to open different screens.
There is an encore performance, I think, in a few weeks' time. Okay. Beginning of July, they're actually doing an encore.
So we might see it return.
So it might return to the top 10. I think in about 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Number 1.
A non-mover, nobody's getting rid of it. Indominus Rex, Jurassic World.
So you made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea. Yeah, what more is there to say about Jurassic World? It's awesome.
I liked it.
I liked it. I loved it. I thought it was great fun. You can pick it to pieces. Don't get me wrong.
I just don't think that you should.
I don't.
It's like picking Independence Day to pieces. Exactly. It's that level of entertainment.
I mean, it is a nice companion piece to the 93 original. It is the first great sequel in this franchise. It's a lot of fun. It's a ride. It's a spectacle.
That's what it is. It's a ride. I think that's
it. It is a
perfect
ride,
way of describing it, really.
Exactly. I mean, don't get too hung up on some of the narrative flaws in it, because you know what? They were there with the original. If we're really honest about it,
who cares? It was in the Navy and now he works with dinosaurs. Who cares?
Who cares?
Maybe he was training dolphins. You don't know.
We don't know. We don't know about Vincent D'Onofrio and his weird preoccupation with militarizing raptors.
Just let him be Kingpin again.
Do you think like Vincent D'Onofrio's character was like on Tinder and that's on his profile? Interests, militarizing dinosaurs.
Dislikes not having dinosaurs being militarized.
Swipe left. Right, so let's move on.
Okay, we have another review. Knock Knock. This is the Eli Roth, Keanu Reeves attempt at funny games. That's what I've got from the trailer.
Well, effectively, it's Fatal Attraction for the YOLO generation. I think that's how I'm going to best describe it. Wasn't press shown, wasn't given any clips, nothing. The clip we have is actually a piece of the trailer. This is a story of an architect who's home alone one weekend, finishing up a work project whilst his family are away at the beach. There is a knock at his door, and 2 rain-soaked girls who are stranded in his neighbourhood ask him for basically assistance getting to a party. This quickly leads to an inadvertent night of passion, and the following morning, a healthy dose of post-coital blackmail when they sort of reveal that they are underage. He, of course, doesn't go for this sort of shenanigans, so he kicks them out. But their return and revenge is swift and brutal. Here's a clip.
We're so sorry to bother you, sir. My phone got wet and she left hers at her house.
Well, if you guys want, you can come in and use my phone.
Guys, I have your clothes. They're pretty much dry.
Surprise!
I can't do this. I'm married. Happily.
Yes, you can. Hey, it's all for a secret. Just relax and enjoy it.
There's not a lot of good to say about this film. I say it is the latest by Eli Roth. It does maintain Eli Roth's somewhat pornographic sensibilities. It is the worst performance of Keanu Reeves' career, and believe me, that is saying something. And I'm talking, I'm talking about Keanu Reeves, who turned up
worse than Johnny Mnemonic, worse than
when he turned up in Shakespeare with "What ho, my lord."
Worse than Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That was my next one.
Yeah.
Worse than The Count is Sinister.
Oh, you have been practicing about to say.
Really? No, I'm not. I never do the Keanu one.
That was on point.
But no, this is easily the worst performance of Johnny Depp's career. There is a point.
Johnny Depp? Is he in it as well?
No, Johnny Depp. Sorry, Keanu Reeves. Johnny Depp.
Surely that'd be a really good performance. Johnny Depp being Keanu Reeves being bad in a film.
That would be quite good, actually. Have they ever done a film together, Johnny Depp and Keanu Reeves? Don't think they have.
I don't think they have.
Maybe if you go back to like the late 80s, maybe.
I will research it for when I'm next on.
But no, Keanu Reeves' career. There is a point in the film in which he seems to be. It's almost as if he's envious of the career of Nicolas Cage, and he's really. It's like he's been studying The Wicker Man for tips on how to really truly ham it up, and because he in the third act in particular, he really goes for that Wicker Man territory. Now on a cinematic level, it's no better directed than any of Roth's Hostel movies. The story is a decent concept, but it's executed with this sort of porn industry style of writing, which goes hand in hand with the porn industry style of acting. And it really is. I mean, if you told me that this had been put together by some sort of right-wing fundamentalist Christian moms organisation as a sort of extended PSA on the horrors of infidelity and the consequences of infidelity, I would actually believe you.
It, yeah.
But the sad thing is that if that actually was the case, it would result in a better film than what this is. Which is quite simply rubbish. It is demonstrable rubbish. There is a point in the... I mean, the whole threat of the film is that they may or may not kill him, these two girls. And you think, yeah, but the movie sets itself up with this prolonged 10-minute sequence in which we're exposed to the wonderful domestic life of Keanu Reeves, which is so nauseating, so sugar-soaked, that you can't help but think the idea of death might actually be somewhat of an act of mercy, like an act of sweet relief, because quite clearly this guy's life is horrible anyway.
Right.
Oh, monster loves his children. Whoa, go to school, kids. It is that.
Is he still Ted?
No, it's like that though.
Right. Okay.
But it's a near 50-year-old guy doing it. That's where this has gone wrong. It's almost like
you don't care for his character, then.
Oh God, no. No.
And there's no threat for his family, and if there was,
the family are removed from the threat because they're away for the weekend while all this is going on. Right. But I will say this: by the end of the film, you wish that you not only hope all the way through the film that they do kill him. You kind of hope there's someone waiting with a bullet for you afterwards. Like when you leave the screen, someone's there waiting with a nail gun for you.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
Welcome back to Off Screen. So we're going to look at Everly next, which is the latest from John Lynch, horror director John Lynch, who brought us, I think, Wrong Turn 2 of all things. Yeah. This is an almost John Wick-esque action thriller sort of pulpy romp starring Salma Hayek of all people. This has gotten some scathing reviews. Now I don't think it deserves them personally. Okay. But the basic story, this begins literally smack in the middle of a scene. This begins in media res with Salma Hayek fighting for her life, having been exposed as an informant for the police. She's actually a sort of imprisoned prostitute in an apartment building, in a very nice apartment that we're told she hasn't left in 4 years. That basically her clients just show up at this apartment, and presumably this happens to every apartment in the building. Basically her clients have all turned on her at once. They're all under the employ of the evil pimp crime lord figure, and she basically is told that she's going to be dead before the end of the night. She has to fight her way out of the building and secure the safety of her young daughter, whom she's never actually met, and her mother. Here's a clip.
Sorry, I have to do this. If I don't, Taika's gonna kill me.
Look around you. I can kill you too.
No.
We don't have to do this right now. I know I'm gonna die tonight. But I have a mother and a 5-year-old daughter, and I have to do something to make sure they're gonna be okay.
Stop! No, Doc!
Please help me save my child. After that, I will come back here, and I promise it'll be you who finishes this off.
How do I know you're gonna come back?
Because as long as I'm alive, he will be obsessed with haunting us. But once I'm gone, he'll forget about them in time and they will be free.
So Salma Hayek there with her "I will be dead before sunrise" sort of a concept. It's a great concept.
It's a good. I mean, I wasn't entirely sure about the premise of it. I think, I'm sold on that.
Right. Strangest thing about it, I mean, that's the concept. She has to fight her way out of the building. Now, they very, very quickly establish, very early on in the film, that she's not getting out the building. The whole film is going to take place in this building, and it does. Now, this film, I say, John Wick is the closest thing I can compare it to, and yeah, obviously that's not going to have been an intentional influence because of the time
when it came out.
Yeah, because
it's like when Dredd and The Raid came out.
Yeah, similar kind of
concept.
Similar kind of concept, but this is in fact The Raid is a good comparison as well because it all takes place in an apartment building.
When you said that, that's the first thing that sprung to mind.
But it's Salma Hayek with a variety of weapons taking on a variety of men in suits. The best way to describe it. And as it goes, there's a sort of video game sensibility to it in that the men she's fighting become increasingly more outlandish as the movie goes on. Costumes start to appear, for instance.
It's like a different boss. Boss level.
It literally has boss level.
It's like Running Man. Yeah, like goes up and up.
It has boss level. Now, Salma Hayek could do this stuff in her sleep. I mean, the cleverest thing about it is her casting because she's been the love interest / sidekick for so many of these movies.
I think about her. I think about Desperado.
That's it. That's where I go to. I go to the sort of hint we got of her as an action star in Desperado, and it's surprising to me that it's taken this long for that to actually become a thing. But no, she's excellent in it. She's solid, likable female lead. I don't think this is a good step forward for the female side of the action genre, but it's not the great moment that we kind of want to happen. And it's very sad that we have to rely on things like the concepts of Expendables and stuff like that for that to actually happen.
Do you not think Lucy was a big push forward?
I think Lucy is more of a science fiction film, but yes, for the most part. Columbiana is one as well that I think of, because that's getting a sequel now, apparently.
It is, as is Lucy.
As is Lucy, yeah. How is Lucy getting a sequel? Am I the only person that saw the end of that movie?
Even Luc Besson said, how would we do a sequel?
I have no idea. But no, Everly, I really enjoyed the pacing of it, the style. It's quick, it's fun. It owes a debt to Crank as well. It has that sort of Crank sense.
Oh, nice, yeah.
You remember how Crank just literally started and he just got up and ran?
Yeah.
That's this movie. Just gets up, runs. That's the movie. And run and kill. That's it. And, call her Jane Wick at your peril, as it were. I think it's a beer and pizza flick. It's not really it's never going to win the Best Picture award or anything like that, but let's be honest, did you really expect it to from the poster? No. So, competition plug. We should plug some competitions.
Let's do that, yeah.
Our Minion Goggles competition still going on the site, onscreenfilm.com. Go in our competition section. At the minute, there's a Minion Goggles competition. Win a pair of goggles from the Minions movie. Coming up this next week, we've got competitions for the home release of The Wedding Ringer, which include goodie bags with various coffee mug, shot glasses, T-shirts.
Everything you would expect.
And there's Chappie as well. We're doing Chappie giveaways. We're giving away Blu-rays for the home release of Chappie as well. So all that's onscreenfilm.com. Go along, have a look at the competition section. So also in the film news this week, then.
What have we got? It's a busy. We haven't said one of the biggest pieces of news. Spider-Man.
Oh God, yes, Tom Holland is Spider-Man. This was confirmed finally.
Finally.
This is Tom Holland, who most people know from The Impossible. I say most people claim to know from The Impossible. I don't remember.
How many people? Yeah.
How many people remember Tom Holland? Come on, nobody's seen In the Heart of the Sea yet. Okay, nobody's seen it. Right, nobody.
We should have done, but
we should have.
Right. Everybody thinks that's going to win Oscars, so we shall see. Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's good.
Yes, Tom Holland, who's basically the young kid in The Impossible. I think I mocked him when the movie came out, but
I remember mocking Ewan McGregor shouting Miriam really loudly.
Miriam. I remember that. Yeah.
He's also in Wolf Hall. If you've seen that.
Nope, not seen that one.
Wolf Hall's good. Good chat.
So what else? Oh, Das Boot. Das Boot being remade. Have you heard this?
Yeah, I've heard that.
What? Das Boot, the classic submarine movie by Wolfgang Petersen, is getting remade. Why? And for the record, you only get to remake Das Boot if you get Jürgen Prochnow a cameo in it. That's the only way you're allowed to.
Is it going to be as long as Das Boot?
I don't know, and God help us. Oh, one film I want to talk about. This is in the film news. Have you heard of Napkin Notes?
No,
right, okay. This is based on a book by Garth Callahan, is his name. It's his memoir. Right? Okay. This is the story of he's a dad who tried to bond with. He made an attempt to bond with his daughter by writing notes to her on napkins that he would put into her lunchbox every day when she went to school.
That's sweet.
And when he was diagnosed with cancer, this took on.
There it is.
You've seen the film now, haven't you? This took on a new meaning, and of course, he and his daughter would still communicate with the napkin notes, and then his cancer went into remission, and then came back 4 times. So, and now I know you can see,
yeah,
you can just see the Aaron Eckhart role in this one. You can just see.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
Right, I've predicted it. Aaron Eckhart. This is going to be produced by Pacific Standard, which, if you're not familiar with, is Reese Witherspoon's production company. So Reese Witherspoon and the producer of Gone Girl are going to be making this movie. Now, bear in mind that their last movie was Hot Pursuit, and that hasn't quite gone down so well.
But Reese Witherspoon was a producer on Gone Girl.
Well, yeah, that's the strange thing. But speaking of Aaron Eckhart, Aaron Eckhart. Speaking of, have you heard about his new film?
Is that the Go Live? Is it called?
It's called Live.
Or is it just Live?
Live!
Right.
Exclamation mark.
Real time, is it all in real time?
Real-time action thriller in which he's a disgraced cop who has 80 minutes to save the commissioner's daughter, whilst a serial killer hunts him. Why not?
That's a good premise.
I could live with that.
That's to the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is a slight chance that it might be found footage because it does involve him teaming up with a journalist who's following him.
Oh,
so
okay.
It might be found footage, but
I can see that working, though.
Kind of can as well.
Yeah.
So. Right, next review then. What we got?
Okay, we have She's Funny That Way. Is she funny that way?
It's a pretty chucklesome movie. You know, Imogen Poots is quite fun. So this is the return of Peter Bogdanovich. How long has he been away? Is it 8 years?
It's something like that.
Something like 8 years. Peter Bogdanovich is back. He's directed a movie, and it seems like in those 8 years he was harbouring a desire to make a Woody Allen movie for some reason.
Yeah,
and that's what he's
definitely.
Yeah, that's what he's done here. So this is the story of a call girl played by Imogen Poots, and her name is Glowbug?
I'm looking it up.
You're looking it up. Okay. Izzy. Her real name's Izzy, but she calls herself...
That's all I can find, is her name is Isabella Patterson.
Okay, so her name's Izzy. She hooks up with a stage director one night, a wealthy stage director played by Owen Wilson in his hotel, who offers her money to give up her illicit life and pursue her dreams, which she, of course, does. The only problem is that her dream is to be an actress. And when she finds herself cast in his play, when she finds herself cast in his play, wouldn't you know it, wacky comedy of errors style hijinks ensue. Here's a clip.
I really like you. Listen, you want to make a deal with me?
Oh, what kind of deal?
No. I'm leaving tomorrow, but if you promise me tonight solemnly, on your word of honor, that you'll never do this again, I'll give you $30,000.
What, to have sex?
No, for money. Promise me you'll only do it when you like someone or for love.
Oh. Well, you're gonna give me $30,000 for that?
Yeah, and it'll give you a fresh start on your acting and whatever you want to do.
Aww.
Imogen Poots and Owen Wilson there. Basically, that's the proposition moment, really. That's the I'll give you money to pursue your dreams kind of. I will say this, though. He's an oddly nice guy if he just goes around offering $30,000 to prostitutes to give up their life of...
Is there any reason he's decided to become Richard Gere?
I don't know, but there is a point in the film in which it's laid out for us that he makes a habit of it. He keeps doing exactly this, and yet it seems to keep backfiring on him, but he does it anyway. I don't quite understand.
But there's no like impetuous reason for him to do it.
He's just got a compulsion. He's got a compulsion.
As far as fetishes go, that's it's noble, but it's weird.
Yeah, exactly. I have a fetish about legitimising call girls. But although, given that the two call girls we encounter are Imogen Poots and Jennifer Esposito, he seems to have exceptional taste in call girls. And they're all run by Debbie Mazar as well. That's a really weird bit. Again, Woody Allen-esque casting. So, Woody Allen is the name of the day in this film. I mean, is this sort of loving homage to 40s, glamorous Hollywood-style inspired screwball comedies, for lack of a better term. And it's very much that sort of a film. As returns go for Bogdanovich, it's nice to see him back, but I wish we'd had something more traditional from his body of work, more in his style. And if I didn't see his name on the way into the film, on the credits, I really would have thought this was a Woody Allen film, because everything about it feels Woody Allen-like. And then you've got Owen Wilson there, who's been in at least two of them.
He's been in two, yeah.
Been in two Woody Allen films. So you think, okay, so he clearly knows this, and he knows what to do in a Woody Allen. So that's what he's doing. He's doing his Woody Allen performance.
He's being his character from Midnight in Paris.
But then it gets slightly more interesting because you think, actually, Owen Wilson, probably owes more of a debt to Wes Anderson. And that's when you discover that, wouldn't you know it, Wes Anderson is a producer on this.
Is he really?
He is. Wes Anderson is a producer on this film, which happens to star Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, fair enough. Now, Owen Wilson, the only problem with Owen Wilson's casting, he's very good in it, but he seems a little bit too naive and a bit too nicey-nicey for what the role entails. He's too good-natured, I think. It's that problem, and we have this all the time with Owen Wilson, his RG shucks mentality. And
does he say wow in this film?
I believe so. I believe he does at a point.
Wow.
Rhys Ifans does steal the film, though, as does Catherine Hahn. Now, I'm a big fan of Catherine Hahn.
I'm a big fan. Well, we've discussed her appearance in Tomorrowland.
Yes, Tomorrowland.
With Keegan-Michael Key.
But, and his great Star Wars entrance.
Yes.
But no, so I think she's great here, although she is continuing her attempt to be this generation's Catherine O'Hara. That seems to be her career path. She's Catherine O'Hara.
If she can sing as well, then I think she's got it.
I think she will. She'll be able to sing. She's the full package, is old Catherine
Get her a
O'Hara.
voice role in the next animated Tim Burton film.
Exactly. But no, I liked the film, but I wasn't dazzled by it, and that's the thing for me. I think because it was the return of Peter Bogdanovich, I expected to be dazzled, and I wasn't. I was intrigued, I was interested, and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't dazzled, and that's the thing for me. I lacked the dazzle factor. Okay. So, did you watch this? Did you get to see this?
No, I'm seeing it next week with my fiance.
But I think, to be honest, if you go in knowing the whole Woody Allen, Wes Anderson, I think, to be honest, you'll be on a better level of expectation.
I think that's definitely going to change my opinion.
Well, yeah, we shall see on that one. Right, Joseph Fiennes, have we heard this news?
Yeah, is this the Chariots of Fire film?
Chariots of Fire sequel? Really?
It's not the one I was anticipating as far as sequels go. I like Chariots of Fire, I like it a lot. I watched it on a big screen, a couple of years ago when it was re-released.
I didn't get to go, would you believe? I really wanted to.
It was good. I got one of the big posters as well. One of that.
Well, check you out.
I know.
Does this guy know how to party or what?
Yeah.
But so Joseph Fiennes has been cast as the lead in Eric Liddell, I think the name is.
Eric Liddell, yeah.
Eric Liddell in it's called The Last Race. So, and this is going to be the sequel to Chariots of Fire. Well, I mean, they left it long enough. Let's be honest. It's been 40 years, 45 years, 44 years.
I don't think it's been that long.
Is it not? I thought it was early 80s. Chariots of Fire. Was it not?
So it's about 30 years, we'll say.
I'm doing the math wrong. That's what it is. Yeah. Right. Okay. Eli Roth news as well. Have you heard about Meg?
Is that the big shark?
This is the big shark. Eli Roth is going to direct a giant shark movie called Meg. Go figure. This one couldn't turn out badly.
So it's going to be like shark torture porn.
Shark torture porn. Shark porn? No.
Shark porn. 1981.
1981. So I was right.
So you I take my hat off.
Oh, no, that would be 34 years. 34 years.
Oh, well, okay. I put my hat back on.
I was off by 10 years. You can put your hat back on. Right. Michael Stuhlbarg. Do you know Michael Stuhlbarg?
Yeah, I love him. From A Serious Man. Yeah.
From A Serious Man, yeah. Have you heard about his new job?
No, I have not.
He has signed up to appear in a science fiction movie called Story of Your Life.
Okay.
Opposite Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. And this is the story...
All over that.
Exactly.
Definitely.
This is the story about a NASA linguist who studies an alien language that allows her to see through time and space just over the course of learning about this language.
Okay.
Go figure.
Wow.
I'm intrigued. Sounds a bit Contact-like, but
yeah,
I could live with it. Right, so what's our next review then? We got... I was going to say, she's funny that way. We've just done that.
We've just done on. Okay, we've got Going Clear, Scientology, and The Prison of Belief.
Which is the latest from Alex Gibney. Have you a fan of his work, Alex Gibney?
What else has he done?
He did The Armstrong Lie most recently.
Oh, wow, yeah, I watched that, yeah.
Did you watch that one?
I watched that, yeah.
That was an interesting one. I remember thinking there were certain issues with the reality of that film, I think, that I think Alex Gibney himself overlooked. This time around, though, we've got kind of the opposite problem. We actually have too much information. It's the Blackfish problem. I'm going to call it the Blackfish problem.
Okay.
This time around, Alex Gibney has turned his attention to Scientology. Now, what he's done is he's assembled a lot of ex-Scientologists who happen to be big names in the industry. So, for instance, Paul Haggis. Now, Paul Haggis is very front and centre in this film. And he's in our clip, which we're going to play in a second. Now, Paul Haggis, because of his natural storytelling abilities...
Well, not when it comes to Crash.
Not when it comes to Crash. Gives us most of the narrative of the Church of Scientology in this documentary, which explores First of all, the origins of Scientology, the actual career of L. Ron Hubbard, from going into the military to going into science fiction to becoming a religious founder and figurehead, to what became of the church then, to the practices they have embarked on, past, present, and, well, not so much future, but basically all the illicit things they've gotten up to. And we are given this information through various law enforcement officials and people who were formerly officials of the Church of Scientology, including Paul Haggis. Here's a clip.
I finally get to OT3, and they give me the secret materials, which you've been hearing about all this time. They're handwritten by Hubbard. You have to keep them in a locked briefcase. Be very cautious, because they've always said if this gets out, it's dangerous to people. It can actually do them harm if they are not adequately prepared. And I read it. And it doesn't make any sense. I remember for one fleeting second thinking, well, maybe it's an insanity test. Maybe if you believe this, they kick you out. Maybe that's it. That, of course, is not the case.
So Paul Haggis there explaining to us at exactly which point you get told about Xenu, which apparently is quite late in the game. Like, you have to reach OT level 3, which I think at one point we are told that to get to OT level 3 costs roughly so many thousand, and yeah. Paul Haggis's reaction to that is fantastic. As you can hear from the clip, it's fantastic, which is, okay, so you spend years in this religion, which is helping, which has a positive effect and psychological, and then you're told this, which you might think is a sanity test. And it's hard not to see it that way, because you think, in reality, could you imagine being told that? Wow! Like, just one day someone tells you, oh yeah, everything you believe is based on this. And you go, okay.
It's quite damning, isn't it?
It is quite damning. And it's kind of hard not to side with them in that way. The only problem is, and again, this is the Blackfish effect. If you make a documentary about an organisation and nobody from that organisation comments on it, it's a very one-sided affair, and the film, therefore, makes the point in their favour. So, we saw this with SeaWorld in Blackfish, where nobody from SeaWorld wanted to comment.
No, nobody wanted to get involved with
exactly. And so what you had was a documentary which did a pretty good job at condemning SeaWorld.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of evidence.
Well, exactly. You've now got the same with Scientology. You've got no one from Scientology wants to talk about it, and they actually give you a list at the end of people they approach, which for the record includes Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
I knew they were going to come up.
Exactly. Well, one of the people who is involved in the film is John Travolta's former assistant from the Church of Scientology.
Okay.
So Scientology assigned an assistant to John Travolta years and years ago. John Travolta was literally at her wedding. We're shown this at points, that John Travolta is there in the wedding party. You know where they get the party of like 6 people in the wedding pictures?
Yeah.
He's one of them. He's one of the 6 most important people at this woman's wedding. So she knew him fairly well.
Quite well, yeah.
Right. There are points in the film in which she tells stories, for instance, about things that John Travolta said and did. And a caption appears on the bottom of the screen. John Travolta's lawyers have denied this story. And the only thing is, there's nothing new, particularly, to be gained from the film as a whole. What the film actually... Because there's so many documentaries about Scientology now. What this film really achieves is compiling it all into one compendium. This is basically the content of 12 other documentaries, all compiled into one definitive one. And you know what? I'm not going to say it's a bad documentary. It's not at all. It's about as good as the Armstrong Lie was, in fairness. I just don't think you'll learn anything new from it. But you know what? It's successful enough in what it does. It just suffers from that Blackfish effect. So should we just see if we've got any more film news left before we go on to the last review then?
I think we've got a couple of pieces to talk about.
Ooh. Michael Shannon and Carla Gugino. They've got a new job.
What is that?
Wolves. Which
As in they are being wolves?
Well, sadly, it's not a sequel to The Grey, which, when you say wolves to me, I kind of hope, because I adore
I love to see Mark Shannon as a wolf. He's got the crazy eyes.
The Wolfman remade with Michael Shannon.
Oh, yeah, like a modern day.
Yeah, that would work.
Maybe that'll be the end of 99 Homes. Have you seen the trailer for 99 Homes?
I have not.
Andrew Garfield, Michael Shannon.
No, I have not seen that.
Looks good. Looks really good.
Well, this is going to be a sort of this is going to be a drama set in contemporary day. It's the story of a basketball prodigy struggling with personal issues and troubled parents. Of course, those parents are going to be Carla Gugino and Michael Shannon. Although I am happy that Carla Gugino is getting work so soon after San Andreas, Because, yeah.
I bet she's been offered every single lead.
I still find it incredibly odd.
After that film.
I'd find it odd that Carla Gugino got offered the lead in a massive tentpole movie. I love Carla Gugino, one of my favourite actresses.
Oh, she's good.
But I found it really, really odd. Like, who sat around the table? And was it a question of we spent all the money on Johnson and Dario? Who do we get to be the mum? Oh, let's just get Carla Gugino. We've got 100 grand spare. Just get Carla Gugino. And then a Kylie cameo. Okay, fair enough. Because we all overlooked the Kylie cameo. Oh, we never got to talk about this last week. Captain Sullenberger in Miracle on the Hudson. It's going to be Tom Hanks.
Captain Hanks. He's just going to be all the captains.
He is. Is there going to be a point when his co-pilot takes over and says, I am the captain now? That's what I want to see. Which, actually, as a film, it's kind of limited in scope because we know how it ends. We kind of know. That's literally going to be the poster. Is going to be this plane in the Hudson, and
but we all knew the end of Captain Phillips as well. I mean, that's
I suppose
it's the thing with biopics, unless something crazy happens. And it's Clint Eastwood directing, so I don't think anything crazy is gonna. I feel like Clint Eastwood just lets the cameras roll. He doesn't really. He's kind of got to that stage where they wheel him out, and he just kind of sits there, and he squints at them, and that's his direction. Like,
do some acting. Get me Hanks.
Yeah, get me Hanks.
I think that's what happens. Did we talk about Kick-Ass last week? Because Matthew Vaughn has decided...
I don't think we talked about it.
No, he wants to do another sequel and a prequel to Kick-Ass.
Do you want to do a standalone Hit Girl film?
Well, I think one of those is meant to be Hit Girl as well. Either the sequel or the... Well, I'm not sure. But Alison Hannigan has a new job as well. She's been cast in the indie romantic comedy, indie drama, Modern Love, which is about gay marriage. So, as of last night, that's going to be kind of interesting.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's pretty apt, isn't it? I'm glad we didn't read that last week now, because now gay marriage is legal in the States. This movie's going to have a whole rainbow aesthetic that it didn't have before. But, Relativity Studios. Have you heard about this one?
All of the Debt.
Wow. Yeah. All of the Debt.
But they have got an extension.
They did. Is it 10 days they got?
It's something like that.
They've got 10 days to pay off their $350 million debt, which is going to see to it that they have to sell off the rights to The Crow. You know that movie that nobody wants to be in?
Including Jack Houston.
Thanks again, Mr. Houston. We love you on Instagram.
give him a name drop.
But no, nobody wants to be the Crow. Bradley Cooper didn't want to be the Crow.
James McAvoy don't want to be
the Crow.
Tom Hiddleston
didn't want to be the Crow. Nobody wants to be the Crow.
I've heard that now it's between Nick Holt.
Oh, God.
Who I think he's got too much on now.
Yeah.
Way too much.
They've got another X-Men movie due as well.
Well, of course, next year, he's going to be Beast again, and Jack O'Connell. Oh, he's now in the running.
You know what? Let Jack O'Connell do it. It's going to be crap anyway. Let Jack O'Connell do it.
Oh, I don't mind him.
I can't stand the guy.
Startup was good. I like Startup.
Get out of my office.
Mendelsohn, though, by Mendelsohn again.
I really hate Startup with a passion.
Really?
But right, okay. Final review of the week then. The Overnight.
I think we both enjoyed this.
I think we did. So this is from Patrick Bryce. This is the story of a couple who have recently moved from Seattle to Los Angeles, who encounter basically their new neighbour in the form of Jason Schwartzman. I don't know about you, but if I move into a new neighbourhood and find Jason Schwartzman's my neighbour, I'm moving back out. But
really, I'd be like, I'm going to go get my guitar. And we're going to go...
We're
jam,
very different people.
We are, that's true. Yeah. If I see this little Jackson Brown-looking guy, I start talking to him about music and stuff, I'll be like, oh, yeah, cool.
So the couple in question are Adam Scott from Parks and Recreation and Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black, who, for the second time in a row, is running around making sour faces at someone named Alex. Go figure. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. His name's Alex. She runs around after him. It's exactly the same as she is in Orange is the New Black. But, okay, so they go to a dinner party with Schwartzman and his wife. A dinner party / play date.
Yeah, they bring the two kids. Sorry, Alex and... What's Taylor Schilling's character? Emily.
Yes.
Yeah, they bring their son along to meet Kurt and Charlotte's son. There we are.
Once the kids have been put to bed, however, the adults decide to amuse themselves, and what quickly follows is a night that will redefine everybody's relationships with each other and even themselves. Here's a clip.
You know you've got a really great look. Anybody ever tell you that?
No.
You've got a really neat thing going on. Mind if I snap a couple?
I think I might need some direction, or...
You just do whatever you were just doing. It was great.
Really?
Yeah. It's great. Relax.
Like that?
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
Your shirt's kind of blending in with the backdrop. Would you take it off, please?
My shirt?
Yeah.
All right. You were a big fan of this.
I was a big fan.
You were. You got to see this before, but I only saw this yesterday.
know,
You saw it last week.
So
I was at Minions.
I've had like a good week to really think about it.
No, I know you were quite the fan. But,
yeah, definitely.
I haven't. This is the second film from Patrick Bryce. The other one being Creep, I've not had the chance to see Creep yet. So
I have seen Creep.
Well, this was produced under the tutelage of the Duplass brothers, and it sort of shows, doesn't it? You kind of feels like it has
Absolutely,
that Duplass influence. I gather you were a fan of the Duplass brothers.
I am, yeah. So I've told you about a film called The One I Love.
Yes,
which
yes,
Mark Duplass is in, and it's definitely got a similar kind of feel.
Similar vibe.
Yeah, similar
the thing with
vibe.
It's a very character-driven sort of dramedy, isn't it? In a sense, it doesn't. It's not big on story, but it's very big on character.
I don't even know if I'd call it a dramedy. It's a weird comedy, drama, sex
Fusion.
comedy, weird thriller.
Yeah, I'd call it a fusion.
A fusion, yeah.
Fusion. Big melting pot of comedy, drama.
It's very difficult to pigeonhole, isn't it?
It is. I mean, there were faint moments of like character thriller in there as well, in a strange way.
Yeah.
But it is all about the relationships between people. And it is. I mean, to be honest, it has, and the movie takes place over the course of one entire night. And as the film goes on, it kind of has that feeling that you've been up all night drinking yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you stood up and had a bit too much wine. Has that feeling to it. It's exceptionally well shot. I really love. I mean, particularly its view of Los Angeles at night, kind of thing.
It looks stunning. Yeah,
stunning looking film. The performances though are great. I mean, Adam Scott has. I think it's because of his sort of proficiency in the comedy genre. But when he's, I have noticed that when he tries to go for the more dramatic stuff, he can come across a little bit snarky, and there's hints of that in there, but it seems to be quite intentionally gauged for a change. Taylor Schilling, very good. However, not really a stretch given what we've seen from her in the past.
That's it. I mean, her character just has to look a little bit like exacerbated.
Well, that's it. She's a reactionary character, and I think at the side of, given how much Adam Scott's character has to do and how much she has to do, there is a real imbalance there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did really like Schwartzman though.
Well, he kind of it's kind of his job to sort of anchor the film. I think. I mean, he's the one that brings the events into motion. I think
he is. I think he is the inciting. He's the inciting character. And no, I did enjoy it. It's one of those performances. I think you would look at this character on paper and objectively find that Jason Schwartzman is really the only ideal candidate for it. It's on a script level. Like, this has to be Jason Schwartzman. There's no one else can do this really, because I can't think of any. Like you look at Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves. Okay, Nicolas Cage could have done that quite easily. Could have phoned that in.
That sounded a little bit like Trespass.
It kind of did, yeah. Which I have still not watched, and I really need to. But say you could cast Nicolas Cage in Knock Knock. It wouldn't really make much of a difference. Jason Schwartzman cannot be replaced in this film. He's essential to what makes this film work.
See, I don't know, because I was watching it and I thought that his was definitely the best version of that. But I was thinking you could put somebody like Will Forte in this.
You think?
Yeah, definitely.
That's an interesting...
in fact, you could put Mark Duplass in that.
I don't know. No, I don't. I think it's a bit too wet behind the ears, to be honest. But I enjoyed it anyway. Yeah. I did. I was a big fan of The Overnight, and it does feature a prosthetic though that is going to haunt my dreams.
Well, which one?
That's a good point. Yeah, it does feature a prosthetic that's going to haunt my dreams.
Yeah.
And so you were a fan as well.
There we are.
Okay, fair enough. So, film of the week. What is it for you?
Well, by default, I'm going to say The Overnight because it's the only one I've seen. But I think even if I'd seen the rest of them, The Overnight would still be it.
Right, I'm giving it to Slow West.
Okay.
Myself.
I may retroactively change my answer after the show is finished.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to see what you made of Slow West, especially how it stacked up against The Overnight.
Yeah, I like a slow burn western though. I really do.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, Slow West and The Overnight both very character driven. So we shall see. Coming up on next week's show. the Amy Winehouse documentary. Amy is finally upon us. We have Justin Long and Emmy Rossum in the indie romantic drama Comet. We have filmmaking revisionist history documentary The First Film, which gets its premiere in Bradford, I believe, on Thursday night. Magic Mike XXL is upon us.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
It really is. It's a bit of a mouthful, no pun intended. And of course, there is no fate but what Hollywood keeps insisting on making for us. Terminator Genocide. Genesis. Do you know that Genesis refers to an app, by the way? That is Skynet's new mechanism. An app. Yes. This is. You can tell I, the diehard Terminator fan, I'm really excited for this version. Yeah, in which Skynet's an app. Yay! So, all that and more to come next week. This has been a Candy Store production for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Kase Allen.
We'll be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.